Hi, this is the second video explaining how I created some resources on my course. In the first video, I showed you how I added one label, how I created a meeting using Big Blue Button, and how I tried to create a meeting through Google Meets, but I couldn't for some reason. In this video, I want to show you how to add a URL, how to add files and folder, and to add forums, and also if you have time I show you how to add a book. Let me go to the activity and resources. Now I want to add a syllabus to the course. I do it through URL because my syllabus is saved on my Google Drive as a Google Doc. I can share it as a URL. Let me close the ad. Okay. For adding a URL, I need to add a name for it and the URL. This is my syllabus. If I want to share it, I can also share it as a file with different formats, but I want to share it here as a URL. Let me get the link. Anyone on the internet with this link can view, but not edit, so it's okay. Let me go back here, call it syllabus or course syllabus, and then we copy here the URL, we paste the URL. We can add some descriptions here, and there are some other options, settings, but for example, for restriction, for activity completion, since it is a resource and I want it to be available for the students all across the course, I do not put any type of restriction for it. And also, this is not an activity to show any completion of it. So I do not do anything with these settings and save it. Let's see how it appears. Syllabus. If students click on it, they will go to the file, the Google Doc, and they can view it. Okay, let's go back and add one more resource. This time I want to add, here as you see, I've got one scoring policy and rubric file, and also a needs analysis. My needs analysis was shared through a URL, so I can add it as a kind of, let's say, adding the URL to any of these resources, like for example the URL, like even the book, adding URL into the book, or adding URL to the label, but I prefer the direct way. Again, let's use a URL, needs analysis form. Let me see, needs analysis form URL. This is the same as I did to the syllabus, but syllabus was saved on the Google Doc, but here is saved on the website of the Question Pro. So the URLs go to different destinations. Needs analysis form, again, we can drag them up and down based on the goal and the order that we want students to go through it. Now, let's take a look at this part, scoring policy and rubric. I can add it as a file or a folder. Let's add it as a file, then we can add folder to this one too. Okay, let's call it rubric. We can add description here and choose whether or not we want this description to be displayed. And then now we can add a file, drag and drop it here, or add a folder and add um, more files. Let's go to the file, rubric. Okay, now the file is here. It can be into the folder. Different folders can be created here so that we can add more files to it and kind of organize them. We can again set a restriction on access or any activity completion, but since it is their resource and we want them to be available to the students all across the course, we do not put much changes on it. But for activities, we can do this. Okay, the rubric is here. If we click on it, the file is available here, the rubric. Students can download it through this icon. Let's go back. Well, I want now to add a book to the course. As you realized, we had this book on week 2 showing some reading comprehension techniques. Let's first take a look at it. As you see, this book has got different chapters, 6 chapters. I've created 6 chapters for it. And now I show you how to create the book, add content to it, and create some chapters, or if we want, create some subsections or sub-chapters. Let's do it on the first page, as we did the other resources. Okay. We want to add a book. This time I do not call it reading comprehension. This time let's call it essay writing. Here we need to add some descriptions. We can add multimedia here. We can play with the font, color, everything. If we want this book to be available at a particular time or after doing some particular activities, we can add some restriction. For example, after badges, we can create badges and then determine that this book becomes available to the students after receiving some particular badges or after some activity completion. For example, for activity completion, let me choose the needs analysis form. The book becomes available to them after filling the needs analysis form. Good. Now let's see where the book is. This is the book Essay Writing, which is not available at the moment and becomes available after completing the needs analysis form. And as you see here, the needs analysis is hyperlinked and students can go click on this part and go through it. Now let's go to creating the book. Here we want to create some chapters. Chapter title, Chapter 1, only available once the first chapter has been created. Okay. Chapter 1, for example, paragraph structure. Adding some description is necessary. We can add some URL here, add some videos here, or just some text, some files. I can add an image. Let's find some images. I want to add an image about paragraph structure. Let me go to my files and see if I can find some pictures. Okay, I can come back and find some pictures because these are some pictures within PowerPoint presentations. I can add some PowerPoint presentations explaining paragraph structure. So let's forget about it for now. But you can add any multimedia or any file you want. Save changes. We have here, as you see on the right bar, chapter 1, paragraph structure. And then we can add one more chapter. Let's go to the title of chapter 2. Can be essay or argumentative essay, descriptive essay, descriptive paragraph. We're talking about paragraph writing. If we want this one to be a subchapter of chapter 1, we can click on this part. Look. Okay, let me save changes to see how it becomes a subchapter. Look, it's no longer chapter 2, it's now chapter 1, and you can create other subchapters to this one as well. Let's see if I can edit it and make it one independent chapter. Can go to the setting and see what it has for us. There might be some other options. Yes, now we are in the settings and I can remove the click of subchapter. Let's see what happens. Now it becomes chapter 2. You can go again to the setting and change